Hello, Justin. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, man. Where are you playing out of on this hand?
So this hand is going to be played out of Players Casino, which is
Ventura.
in yeah, Ventura.
Now they just opened recently. Is that right? Within the last
So
year?
they closed down their old location during COVID. So
Hmm.
I think they're closed down for about a year and a half, and then they just recently opened up about a year ago
Okay.
at a new location on like the Ventura Fairgrounds.
Is it now? Funny enough, I had never been to the old location, but I heard it was kind of a dump. So,
I've never been to the old location either. I wasn't even 21 when the old
so is
location
this
was.
one okay? Like
Yeah,
nice?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
nice. It like, overlooks the ocean.
Oh,
There's really
nice,
good food.
nice.
But yeah, there's not that many. Like the game selection is really small,
Hmm.
but the quality of the casino is nice, and I don't know. It's like a good community, like
They
similar to
they
Player
used to
Pool.
play like a half high low game there too. Like they used to play like this is before COVID, like a half PLO 8 PLO game or something like that.
Yeah, they
Uh,
occasionally still run like smaller PLO games, which are
mhm.
like rare to find. Like I used to play at Commerce a lot, and you
Yeah.
can't find a PLO game smaller than 510.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay. So they got
So yeah,
small.
they do have some smaller PLO games, which is interesting on
Yeah.
occasion. But yeah,
All
it's a
right.
nice call.
So what's the game size here?
So this is gonna be kind of a weird hand. So we're six-handed right now because it's a
Okay.
must-move table,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a three blind game. So every Wednesday they run a 3-5-10 game. Um,
Nice.
but someone did a blind 20 raise, so it wasn't a live 20, making it like a four blind game, and we're six-handed, so it's kind of a little bit of
A
a
lot of
goofy.
blinds. A lot of blinds. How deep are you?
I'm 2.6K effective.
All right. So interesting little live setup here in terms of thinking about stack depth. Now, of course, it's a blind raise, which means it's not a straddle, but it's 3-5-10 mandatory. And since the hero is 2.6K, you look at this and he's like, oh, he's just over like 100 big, he's 130 big blinds, which is true, right, from a math perspective. But I will say, it's not necessarily a small stakes exploit. It's just something that I will mention quite a bit. That when you have like these one off, whether it's a one off, this is the game's playing 3-5-10 the entire time, right? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
This is like the first
Okay.
blind race
So
for
when
the
you
last
have
like
these one off extra, so if you're playing in a normal two blind game and then all of a sudden there's a one off straddle, or in this guy's case, if it's a three blind game and then all of a sudden this guy blind raises to 20, a lot of the players don't get in the same ranges that would be worth like 130 big blinds. They're much tighter with it if it's a one off. Meaning, like, yeah, it's 130 big blinds, but the response of a lot of your opponents when they get that amount of money in skews more towards the absolute amount of money as opposed to them looking at it as like 130 big blinds. So that's just one thing of note. All right.
No, I think that's a great observation because
Yeah.
that honestly did affect my wide open. So
Okay.
I look down at my hand and I have King of Diamonds, Ten of Hearts,
King of Diamonds, Ten of Hearts. Okay.
which is typically going to be at like the bottom of my opening range, first act.
Six handed.
Um,
Right. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, so I don't even know what I would
You're
call
under the
like
gun,
this.
right? If you're
Yeah,
first
I
set.
guess like I'm
Yeah.
under the gun, but I'm to the right of the button. So
Right.
I'm also like the
Cut
cutoff.
off under the gun. That's funny. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so button's going to be the only seat that has position on me post flop.
By the way,
So
I don't mind opening here. Another thing I'll say, just straight out of Texas games, when I used to play on these one-off streams, is that you cannot open the same type of range anywhere close to the same type of range from the button in a game where there's like five or six straddles, as traditionally you would from the button in a two-blind game, just because of sheer number of hands that have not acted. I think
right.
the open is fine. It's something to point out. All right, so King 10 off. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit wide for me, but I figured there's a lot of dead money to fight for, and I'll be in position on most people post flop, so not too big of a deal. So I opened the 60, which I think is already kind of a mistake. I should probably be going a bit bigger with all the dead money. But
Whatever. I think
like you
that's
said,
fine.
a lot of people are thinking about like
Yeah.
absolute value, so I didn't think I
Because you're
had to go
opening to
too
60
big.
where the probably the normal open's been 35 or 40. I can get away with that.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Okay.
opened the 60.
Yep.
The button calls,
Hmm.
and then it folds to the blind raiser, who also completes.
So the 20 guy calls.
Yeah.
And so the pot's like probably like 190 or something.
Yeah, like 195,
Okay.
200.
Yep.
And so the flop comes out Ace of Diamonds, Queen of Diamonds, Jack of Clubs.
Ace of Diamonds, Queen of Diamonds, Jack of Clubs. Looks like you smashed the nuts, right? You got
Yep.
King of Diamonds, Ten of Hearts, button calls, straddle calls, and you have the king of diamonds, right? So you got the one card stiff flush draw. You block the nut
Yeah.
flush. Ace, queen,
Yep.
jack. Okay, awesome. And you're unblocking all the pairs. Man, I would go big on the flop.
I
And
know. Oh,
the reason why is
now
just,
looking back at the hand, I really regret my
I
sizing.
mean, it's not that like it's not a protection type of thing. It's just like you're unblocking all the pairs, right? You know how these guys like to over VPip like offsuit broadways. Like you're not going to get action from like pocket sevens.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
go at least 150, 160. I might even bet 200. And a lot of times you're not, the only time where you wouldn't want to go, and we did this thing, right? We did a podcast last week that Nate helped me with on overbetting on 2023. And we talked about flop overbetting. Now the theory goes that you're not supposed to be doing a lot of flop overbetting like when it's multi-way. You're supposed to be using the smallish type of sizing. But remember, it's live, so you can make this deviation. And I love it when you flop thick value here and you don't block a lot of the pairs, the overrepresentation of ace X and suited broadways, yada, yada, yada. I can go on and on and on. Maybe whether it's worse or better that you have the king of diamonds just because you want to get more calls, but you can call across. I would bet large.
Yeah. Looking back on the hand, I agree because you're 100% right. There's no like under pairs or like non-diamond suited connectors that are going to call this flop anyway. So I might as well target like all the two pairs or pairs plus gut shots. So yeah, I wish I went bigger, but the blind raiser checks to me. I do like a standard range bet, a little above 1/3 of 80. Like I said, I wish I went bigger, but
That's for the thumbnail.
yeah. And then the button calls and the blind raiser calls.
All right. So what am I going to put? I'm going to put BR as blind raiser checks. Hero bet. What'd you say?
80.
80. And then button and BR call. Now, I was just thinking, just something of note. I've actually seen once in a great while you can get tricky with this and actually go for a check raise, but I would wait to go more multi-handed than three-handed. It's just going to get checked through a lot. Like if you were like under the gun and you had 4 people that called you in the field, you could get tricky with this and go for a check raise with I think a lot with the properties of your hands, but I would just like a larger bet here per se. All right. So 2 4s and like maybe 435, right? Something like that. 435.
Yeah, pots around 435 is
Okay.
what I have.
Yeah.
So the turn comes out the 3 of clubs.
Okay. So ace of diamonds, queen of diamonds, jack of clubs, turns 3 of clubs, backdoor clubs are out now. Of course, the ace and the queen can be out, right? Can have ace X of clubs, can have queen X of clubs. So, yeah, I mean, another thing. The thing about, the other thing too about getting the maximum amount of value with an overbet on the flop in this type of situation is now, if you go like 400, and I'm not saying it's wrong, now you get the folds from competent players with like ace 4 of spades, right? Here, like next to act, because you look so strong. So that's why another reason why I like those large bets on the flop, because you get a lot of those hands in. But I mean, I still think you're forced to go at least 3/4 here.
Yeah, so I think after this turn came out, I kind of like woke up and realized, okay, like what hands am I targeting here? Like I should definitely be sizing up on this 2 flush draw board, lots of 2 pairs that can still call me, combo draws like flush draws and gut shots. So I kind of wake up here, blind raiser checks in a flow, and then I bet 325. But I think I could even go pot here like 430, 400.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if having the king of diamonds in your hand, there has to be some relevance here. Whether having the king of diamonds in your hand actually demands you to go slightly smaller than not having it. I would tend to go larger here, 350, 375. It's subtle, but okay. So 325, okay.
Yeah. So the button folds and the blind raiser calls.
So button folds, who is next to act, and then BR calls, and 650. So now it's 1,085. You guys started with 2,600. So it looks like you have like 21, right? Over 21 left, something like that.
Yeah. Plenty of money to still play for.
Ace, queen, jack, 3. Okay.
So the river comes the 6 of clubs.
6 of clubs. Okay, so the back door comes in.
Correct.
Yep.
And villain virtually snap jam leads for all in 2000.
Oh my God. Now let me just ask you one question here. So why is he blind raising? Like, does that mean he's a gambler?
Yeah, he's definitely an action player, but I would classify him more as like a thinking action player. Like he likes to bet big. I've seen him do over bets as bluffs and for value, but yeah, he's an older gentleman, probably in like his 60s, but I don't know. He's not horrible. He's like tight pre-flop, but post-flop he's very aggressive, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like I mean, this would be I'm not. I'm definitely not snapping off here. And if you do fold, it's a very exploitable. It's kind of an exploitable fold, I would say here, because the line would just it's hard. It would break a computer here, right? At the end, would I make folds like this against some people? Possibly. The only thing I would be thinking about here is that like he's got to have something that he doesn't think is good enough, and turn it into a bluff, or end up with busted diamonds here and turn it into a bluff. Obviously, you'd like to have like the king of clubs here. Like if you had the king of clubs here, I don't think you can fold ever, right?
No, of course not.
The fact that you have the king of diamonds means that he doesn't have that diamond draw on the front end.
Exactly. That's what my rationale is, that like I have the worst possible combination of king 10 that I can call with. Like I would love to have like the king of clubs or the 10 of clubs, like blocking like those gut shot plus backdoor flush draws that might float 80 on the flop and then pick up the flush draw on the turn and call. In addition to that, having the king of diamonds blocks those hands that are like front door flush draws plus gut shots.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I would look at this as a pot odds thing as opposed to any type of MDF thing here at the end. I mean, it would be like you're getting, it's 1.5 to 1, right? It's 3,000 for 2,000. I'd try to keep it as simple as possible. And I would say against a blind raiser here, and I would say like, am I good here 1 out of 2.5 times? Am I good here 40% of the time? And usually I don't make a lot of like crazy hero folds in given situations, but this is one of these ones. It's an interesting hand, but I can't necessarily give you the right answer because I think it's going to be a little bit player dependent here. Because if you're up against a guy that's just never bluffing, which we see in live poker, then sure, I can get on board with a fold, especially not holding a king of clubs in your hand. But if he's in any way competent, or you say he overbets some good hands, but then he's capable of bluffing, then it can't be bad either way. I don't think anyone's going to flame you really. It's hard for us to answer here on the in this format, but I don't think it can be really bad either way here.
Yeah.
So people say now. What about the? Thank you, Michael G. here in the live chat. What about the pace of his jam here? I know you had said he sort of did it quickly. Was it
it was very quick, which like typically I read as weakness because I don't know if that's
necessarily weakness though in this case though, because he'd have to at least know enough where he's like, oh, I'm on front door diamonds here, and I'm gonna bluff a backdoor club. Remember, well, he did overcall the flop, so that. He overcalled that's another interesting thing though too. So let's go back to the little information that we have in terms of hand rating. He overcalled the buttons call on the flop. So now, obviously he could be playing wider than this, but what that means is that he shouldn't really have queen X of clubs here unless it's a straight draw. Like if he's even in there, like he really shouldn't have like queen 9 of clubs here. Should he even have
even just closing action
on ace queen jack with 2 diamonds? Would you call there with queen 9 of clubs overcalling the flop on ace queen jack with 2 diamonds with queen 9 of clubs? I mean, that shouldn't be a call overcalling. It's certainly a slam dunk call heads up. I mean, I'm just trying to go through the logical progression of like if he was playing. I mean, so that is a little bit interesting. I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know if queen 10 of clubs is a call.
Right.
Ace, queen, jack, queen 10 of clubs after it goes bet call with a gutter and second pair. So when you take a look at that, does the overcall lend itself more towards him? His draws should be way more front door diamonds than backdoor clubs. So when I look at this, then I'm trying to figure out what now. Could he have ace X of clubs? Absolutely. You lose to ace X of clubs, right? But as I look at that, though, that's like the little bit of wrinkle where you can't gain that type of information if the button fold outed on the flop. So if you're looking for something to grab onto, that leans me more towards a call that this flop was an overcall here.
Right.
So, what'd you do?
So I hem and haw for a while, but yeah, just given the way the hand played out, I did end up calling and hero mucked. So
I mean, villain mucked.
Or villain mucked.
Nice. Good call. Do you see? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like you're happy about it, though.
No, I mean, I was not, I was like very 50-50 on whether I was going to call or fold there. Like, just because of my combination of king 10, I think if I held the king of clubs,
well, sure, obviously,
I would have called like a lot
but
faster.
But again, though, can you get on board though with what I'm saying? Like, and then by the way, too, like, he can't have Jack X of clubs, right? So king 10 is a straight along with you, and I don't think king 10 of clubs is played this way as check call jam. So, like, it's like, okay, and then king 9 of clubs shouldn't be overcalling the flop. We already said that queen 10 of clubs shouldn't really be overcalling the flop. I gotta be honest with you, it's close if king queen of clubs. The more I think about this,
I understand your logic, but then part of me is also like, it's live poker, and this guy's putting on the blind 20 six-handed. You know what I mean?
And I 100% agree with you, Justin, in that. But I'm trying to look at some things here that would sway us towards a decision one way or the other. Could he show up with king queen of clubs here? Sure. Could he show up here with queen 9 of clubs here? Sure. But I'm just saying that some of those queen X of clubs, and then if he's not playing king 9 of clubs and king 10 of clubs, the more I look at this, the harder it is for him to have backdoor clubs, except, of course, ace X of clubs, which could be a lot of combos, right? If he's playing any ace X of clubs. But
I think that logic definitely would play more of a role in my decision making with like a really good player, but with the bad guys, it borderline makes me more scared because they are the dudes who are going to float with like their weird backdoor flush draw and then hit it and then just jam. But yeah, I guess it worked out for me.
All right, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bart.
All right.